A century ago, German philosopher Oswald Spengler published a work that remains deeply thought-provoking, The Decline of the West. In this monumental 2-volume book, Spengler offered a new way of looking at history, one that challenges the idea of endless progress. Instead, he argued that civilizations, much like living organisms, go through life cycles: birth, growth, maturity, decline, and death. According to Spengler, the West is now in its final stages, and his predictions about our modern world feel eerily accurate. A new way of thinking about history. Most of us are used to thinking about history as a straight line, always advancing towards something better. Spengler rejected this view. Instead, he saw history as a collection of unique cultures, each with its own personality and destiny. Like people, these cultures are born, grow, and eventually die. No culture, not even the mighty Western one, is immune to this pattern. Just as ancient Egypt, Greece, Persia, and Rome rose and fell, so too will the West. Spengler believed that Western culture is defined by a Faustian spirit, inspired by the legend of Faust, a man who makes a pact with the devil in his relentless quest for knowledge and power. This restless desire to explore and conquer has fueled incredible achievements, from the Viking voyages and Gothic cathedrals to the scientific revolutions of the 18th and 19th centuries. The West's drive for infinity can even be seen in skyscrapers, space exploration, and today's digital domination of cyberspace. But no culture can grow forever. According to Spengler, once a civilization reaches its peak, decline is unavoidable. For the West, the turning point came with the French Revolution, the rise of Napoleon, and the Industrial Revolution. These events marked a shift from a focus on art, philosophy, and spiritual depth to an era dominated by technology, economics, and politics. Spengler made an important distinction between culture and civilization. Culture, he argued, is the creative phase, full of organic growth and spiritual energy. Civilization, on the other hand, is the final phase, when a society becomes mechanical, artificial, and focused on outward expansion rather than inner development. During the civilizational phase, hierarchies break down, democracy rises, and eventually, authoritarian leaders, what Spengler called Caesars, take center stage. The emphasis shifts from inward growth to outward control, turning the world into something to be conquered, not cherished. Spengler pointed to the rise of massive cities, or megalopolises, as a clear sign of civilizational decline. Unlike the smaller, more organic cities of earlier times, modern megalopolises are vast, impersonal, and disconnected from nature. They are inhabited not by cohesive communities, but by a rootless, restless population. Spengler described as neo-nomads. These are people who feel at home in any global city, but alienated in the countryside or small towns. Life in these urban centers is marked by tension and detachment. People focus on facts, science, and logic, but the deeper, spiritual rhythms of life are lost. This constant intellectual strain leads to a craving for shallow distractions, mindless entertainment, obsessive sports, and superficial pleasures. Losing its vitality, Spengler saw this exhaustion not only in the arts and culture, but also in demographics. Birth rates in advanced civilizations begin to plummet, and populations rely on immigration to sustain themselves. For Spengler, this wasn't just a practical problem, but a sign of metaphysical death. People lose the will to continue their family lines, seeing no deeper purpose in life beyond their own individual existence. He believed that the dominance of intellect over spirit was at the heart of this decline. When reason becomes all-powerful, it begins to undermine the very essence of life. The unrelenting pursuit of progress and efficiency erodes the primal, instinctive forces that make life vibrant and meaningful. Carl Jung, the famous psychologist, echoed this idea when he wrote, "The intellect usurps the seat, where once the spirit was enthroned." Spengler's view might seem pessimistic, but it offers useful lessons. By understanding how history moves in cycles, we can better understand the changes happening around us. His ideas also shed light on why many non-Western cultures are skeptical of or reject Western ways of life. Although Spengler saw decline as unavoidable, his work encourages us to think about what matters most to our society. Maybe by focusing more on the spiritual and creative sides of life, we can face these challenging times with more clarity and purpose. Ultimately, the decline of the West isn't just about collapse. It's a call to rethink how we live, what we value, and the kind of legacy we want to leave behind.